good afternoon, my faithful subscribers. And if you're not subscribed, please do so now. Welcome back to the Angry Scotsman. I haven't uploaded any videos. I haven't had any real content last while. Mainly because, well, let's just say that thing there is the bane of my existence right now. I've got to the point now where it's reading a rich code. Before it was misfiring, and every time I turned around it seems to give me a new issue to fucking hunt down. It was camshaft correlation, which right now it's not bringing up, and I haven't touched anything to do with timing. Then it was a lean code, and then, or actually no, it was a rattle that the customer was complaining about anyway. It would go away once it was warmed up. It turns out it's the VVT, and the intake was rattling. The intake on that stupid thing, it was one of these rails that are inside here. There's little doors, one here and one on the other side, that feeds this side and that side of the engine. And then at idle, it would rattle. And then once it was warmed up, the little plunger would push down and the rattle would go away. It was some of the VVT, but mainly it's that. So I've been fucking with that. Got that fixed. The old engine had that intake piece on it, but since this thing was in an accident, it cooked one side of it, so I've had to put some RTV gasket maker on it and shove it in, which solves some of the problems that I was having. The other problem I was having is misfires 1, 3, and 5, all the back bank. Of course, it's the most annoying bank to get to. You got to take the intake off and fuck with a whole whack of wires and connectors and everything else. So I've been having that on and off for the last little while. And then I caught a cold. Went out camping with the family, and then after that weekend, caught a cold. Just the generic cough and sniffles, and just feel like shit. And kind of drags you down. You're still able to kind of function, but it drags you down. And yeah, so I've been trying to get over that. I'm a lot better now. I think I've got a stock in Halls and Buckley's right now, for the amount of shit that I've been buying. So yeah, I'm getting over that. So I haven't had any ambition to do anything. And then I've been collecting parts for the truck out back, because it needs a whole front end work on it. So I've been slowly collecting parts for it to hopefully get that one gone and out of my hair. Yeah, what little hair I have, right? And then I was working on Max. So Max, yeah, here we go. I replaced the master cylinder. It's now, I think, 2 different trucks that do this now. So what you're seeing right now is it's on an 04 truck, but this master cylinder is off of a 88, 89 OBS Chevy. And then the pedal assembly on the other side, I think, is from the same truck that this came off of. This is an 88, 89. The pedal that comes off the top of the bracket goes down is off of a Dodge. And then the bottom of the arm is flipped around, and the bottom of the pedal is back from the same 88. So then, after that, I lost clutch. I was driving the camper around, and every time I turned around, I was losing the fucking clutch. So from here, I go, brake line goes up, goes to this fitting, which is dash 3, I think it was called. Goes up and into a Jate Wagoneer from a 97 to 05 Wagoneer. It goes over, across, goes over to another fitting, which is way the fuck over there. And then from there, it's a generic one. It's another 4 feet, goes down, over, and then back around underneath the starter and hooks into the slave cylinder. So I was working on that. I ever updated you on that, but that's what I was doing. I don't think I got video for it or pictures. Well, pictures for maybe for Facebook. But I was working on that. And then I cleaned out the back seat of the truck. And yeah, that's a whole nother problem. That is everything that didn't make it back into that box that I've built for the batteries, which is pretty much done. That's just going to go back in the back seat. So I haven't had any ambition to do that. So I've been down, what, a month now-ish? So today I figured I'd get Max back in the yard. The Santa Fe that I was telling you about is the bane of my existence. I can't love it if it won't go away. Is now down to one code. Well, it's 2 codes, but it's the same shit, different pile. One is 288 or 2188 rich at lean, or rich at idle, and the other one is just too fucking rich. And it's 172 is the other code. So I don't know exactly where that's laying. It's not, as far as I can tell, a vacuum leak. So I can put my hand over top of the intake and it will suck my hand in. And I don't hear any other whistles from anywhere else, other than the oil filler cap. It will howl something fierce. It sounds like a belt whistling, but that scared the shit out of me and I just pulled my hand off. But I don't hear any other air rushing from another spot. So I don't think it's a vacuum leak up on top, but it has some serious good suction. So the other thing is an exhaust leak, which it very well could be. I used the old gaskets from the engine that it had. I just threw them back on there and called it a day. Or it could be the O2 sensors a little faulty. If that's the only code I've got now, I may let it go like that. I don't know yet. The customer is already pretty heat deep in that one. He's got what, $800, $900 into one engine, me putting it in, and now it's he wanted the old VVTs replaced, so he's into it for that. And then the time and effort I've been working on that thing for at least the 2 weeks before I got kind of, and just, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. But today I'm a lot better. I figured I'd get myself out. It is hotter than hell out here. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 34 degrees Celsius. Tonight, expect a low of 8 degrees.
Yeah. Right. They were saying it was supposed to be a lot fucking warmer or a lot cooler today than that. Like in the 28 to 29 range. Fuck. Alright. No wonder I'm sweating like a pig. Or a boy in a church choir. Take that as you feel. So today, I was thinking bring Max in and work on this old puppy. I've got some of the parts I need. I'm hoping I can get it all in today. Or at least, I'm thinking of putting my pieces over there. And I've got some hoses that I've been collecting for the last while from work. They don't need them, so I grabbed them. And I'm a pack rat, so what the hell. They're 2 pieces right there, which is about what I need to go from here to basically over there. I'm hoping that's going to be the case. I'm going to take my manifold off that I welded up. I'm going to drill 2 holes. I had to get 2 different fittings because apparently I don't have a tap that fits the Uber size. So I'm going to hopefully be able to tap that today and run the hoses over there. And then pick up power for this magnetic clutch. What's this one? Oh, that's my temperature. No, is that's a sensor? Pressure sensor? It must be my pressure sensor. But yeah, hopefully be able to get my air horn working again, which is over on the far side. And I've got to buy another one of those because my infinite wisdom. Air horn sits right there. But as you can see, the rocks have beat them to hell. And since it pushes this out, every time I turn, I whack it with the tire. So I gotta move them. So I'm thinking up there somewhere. And then covering them somehow so nobody knows they're there. Yeah. I don't know. And that light and that light are going to disappear. I'm going to put... Oh, where's my other lights? I have 4 of those. Somewhere. Here. 2 down below and 2 up top. I'm going to put more of those up there instead. But yeah, this is... where I'm at with this. So, sensor console all torn apart. I've got put my touch screen back in. I've got to put my camera back in. My radio's back in. And figure, yeah, this mess of wiring out. It's a good thing I labeled all that shit. But I got to get all this basically back in, and then I get my seat back in. So this is what happens when you stop mid-project and go fucking camping. So yeah, and then new bracket that I made for camera part over my screen, so I can put it onto the upper center console, which I'm going to add. I needed a little cubby hole to put my other radio in, and plan is that's going to be my AM FM radio. I was going to put it there and stand it straight up, but then I'm thinking, no, because I have a tendency to have drinks and I flop them on top, which then I have the same problem I have right now. I drape my hand over top of this and I always hit the mute button, and then of course music stops. So I'm going to turn this into a cubby hole so I can drop shit into it, like phones and change and shit like that. Make a cup holder over on the far side, put my radio back here, and I've got as a matter of fact, I finished some of it. So that's what it is. So I've used some urethane, I gotta sand it down, and I 3D printed a piece that radio will fit into the upper console. So that's where it sits right now. Took out the old cubby hole that the thing ain't had in it, printed up a piece, stuffed it in there. The urethane is basically plastic glue, and it hardens, so I can sand that down, make it all look pretty, paint this thing a nice shade of black so it all matches, and away we go. And then on top of all that, the new screen holder is right there, and then behind that is a little cubby hole for that piece. So I gotta get some cable for that and then move that so it will be behind here, so I won't have to worry about it behind the seat. And then I've got the camera here, that one, the one above here, and yeah, where is it? Yeah, right there. I gotta move the cabling. Like, they're still gonna be in the same spot, but the cable that goes from here and up and over is longer than the stuff obviously in the back that comes to here. So I gotta flip basically both those cables. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna buy a new cable, and it's gonna be a different style cable that I'm just gonna plug into here and then run it to the new spots. It's kind of the thought that I'm gonna have. And then, not sure if I did an update, but we'll do one here today. So what we got right now, so we've got main, secondary, and then my spare, which is in here, and then all the fuses for the inverter, which sits right there and is run. The two, I think that's main, that's secondary, and then all the solenoids that run those, and then we've got boosting. So third one doesn't exist because it's not in there, so it won't light up. But you got your main and your extra, and I can link all the batteries, and I don't need the touch screen to do it. So if the touch screen's for some reason down and I'm dead, I flick those on, or even just that one, and I can link the two batteries together. I've welded up the hole. The air tank's going to fit in there. It kind of fits, but I've welded up the hole for behind the piece now, and I've thing to this side. So back of the case that you saw, and where the other battery's supposed to go. So I gotta fix all that up, and then I've got to cut a hole for where the winch goes. Well, that's a later date, but yeah, so far I even had this thing running one day, so it works. I just had no ambition to do anything. So this is basically an update video of where the hell have I been, just in case anybody actually gave a shit, which I'm pretty sure the 24 people I have on this channel don't really give a shit where I've been. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. So I guess I'm gonna call it right now and get my ass in gear and see what I can do on this thing today before I melt into a small puddle. I'll keep an eye on my print that I've got, because I've started it 4 goddamn times and the fucking printer keeps just going, nope, not gonna run, nope, not gonna run. It starts off nice and then it gets about midway up and then clogs. So this morning it was a jammed down hole, and had to replace all the parts for it and then get it going. So it's currently chunking away on a PC for the camper. It's one from Amazon. It's a Chinesium style motherboard, runs on laptop memory. I've got a 32 gig hard drive for it and a 12 volt car battery style power supply for it, which for the SSD hard drive NAND flash drive that it's got, it is blistering fast. You blink and it's already in Windows, and it's running Windows 10. The thing is 6 inches square, so I'm making it for the media center in my camper. And the one that I've got in there now is allocated for something else now. So nothing goes to waste with me. So I'll upgrade it to get things faster. And then the other one will probably be just a media center in the house, so that I don't really care if it's slow. I got time to burn. I want something a little faster in the camper. So that cost me, well, the first round it cost me $250 because I got the power supply and all the other shit. The second one I'm going to buy, it's going to probably only cost me about $100 for about the same amount of shit. Everything's coming down in price. The memory was slightly different, and the hard drive, or SSD, is cheaper as well. It was $19 for a 32 gig, so can't go wrong. And the reason why I went this route is the one that's in the camper now, I'm having, you can't do LED statuses on it. So you can't have power in the hard drive, so you can't tell what it's doing. And there's really no upgrade to the space in it. You're pretty much limited to what it's got. So this is why I'm kind of going this route. Is the motherboard I've got for it has upgradability. So I can put another hard drive in if I want, I've got 32 gigs of OS storage, which is fine for Windows 10. And then on top of that, I had a 2 terabyte USB drive that runs on USB 3 that uh, ugh, brain melt, that runs on USB 3 that is a secondary. So that's how I'm going to run it. If I decide to later on, I can update the OS drive to something bigger and store it on all the time, but I don't think I'm ever going to do that. And this one is substantially faster. So, and then again, if I decide to upgrade it for whatever reason, this one actually comes out and I can use it in the shop computer, which right now is a piece of shit too. So yeah, upgradability, and they're not available much anymore. They're $170 and there's no upgrade to them. You have USB flash drive upgradability inside that you can add to it, but it's not the same. You can't upgrade the memory, you can't do this, that, and the other thing, so fuck it. I went this way. It's only $30 more, and it was a lot better. So yeah, that one's going into the camper, and right now I'm printing a thing for it, and I'm hoping it will finally finish this time, because it's really getting annoying that I have to restart this thing. I've almost pretty much burned through another filament roll. Oh, okay, enough nattering. I gotta get going and see if I can get this holes drilled into this thing and see what I can do. Check you later.
One eternity later.
So yesterday I worked on Max for probably about 5 hours. I guess I'm still not kind of feeling my groove yet, but I got quite a bit done. Center console's been moved over from here just so I can get some wires out from underneath. Redoing the inverter wire and all sorts of shit. Relocated the camera that was here to here now. I had to change one wire from there that I use for the Speedo. Since the box is going to be here, obviously it doesn't have to be that long. This one was down here, and then the box is basically right there. So I used that cable for this one, changed the cable from this one to that one, and actually I ended up having to cut 2 feet from here to that vent basically out, because I've had the dash off before and that wire was run right in behind it and it's all zip tied, so I can't get it out. So I had to abandon 2 feet of wire, and it's still enough to reach up there and have more than enough. Got my center console up, so now it's how do they call it, plastic coat. So it's a rubberized coating that's on this thing right now. So my amateur radio's in it. I've put the new cable into it. The cable goes across, down, and then across the dash, and will pop out through that hole. It's kind of stuffed in there at the moment. I got the new, no, it's not new or used. It's my old one that I put. It's brand new, but I've put it up there and just I was going to put it in the dash, but then I thought, no, it's going to block more of my view than if it was up here, because I can still flip it up. I 3D printed a bracket that'll fit the center console, or the upper console, and it's contoured like perfectly. So it's on there, screwed in with some wood screws, and then I still got what was left of my old one that was up there. I went a little overboard with the screws, but it's held up nicely. It used to be in the same spot, so I just took the arms off it. So the arms are there, put them back onto the other one, screwed them back in place, we're good to go. So the cable goes up there, and then it goes back down to here as well. So all my cameras are run. That one there is for the touchscreen for the Nexion. Then I've got the DVR, and the screen will sit in front of that, and this will be chunked into the dash, and then my climate control can go back into the bottom. The other piece I've got is the inverter switch, which is in the house at the moment, getting some revamps done to it, but it's got that, and it will have the display for the DVR on it, along with the SD card, so I don't have to worry about getting into the dash when I need to change the card. And then it will have the mic input from here. Since I'm not going to have the mic dangling down, I've got a network cable that goes across and then comes out there. It's got a spot for it sits in where on this model where the airbag switch sits. Well, the airbag switch has been pitched into the back of that dash because I never shut the damn thing off. I don't have kids sitting in the front seat. Who needs kids? They're greasy, vile little vermin I don't need. So yeah, I won't have kids in the front. And later on we'll deal with the wiring shit back here. But right now it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It is not hot. It's kind of muggy. And I just don't have my groove. So I'm kind of all over the place and whatnot. And listening to true crimes podcasts and some twisted shit out of that. So I think I'm just going to go inside, hide downstairs, and veg for a little bit longer. So that's what I've been up to for the last, 2 months or so. Nothing much, and just still trying to do my own thing. Well, until next time.